Hello again, everybody, and welcome to a very special Celebrity Corner. It's so special that I'm doing it instead of our usual entertainment guy, Evan Davis, and that's only because I have the great pleasure of introducing our all-around number one guy, my buddy, Rich Natole.
Hello, Dan.
Thank you
nice
very
to be
much.
here. Thanks for having me.
Rich has something that, out of all our columnists and all our people that I've known, is a brand new movie. But before we get to the movie, I want you to know I did some checking because I go back with you since 2009.
Yeah, what year was that?
I mean, again, you made the front page of the Vegas Voice in September 2009.
And this was a new paper then.
It was pretty new, yeah. And it's Voices of a Generation because you have that distinct ability not only to make people laugh, but you do it in different voices.
What are you saying? I'm funny? Funny how?
Yeah.
Like I amuse you? Like I'm your personal clown funny? Huh?
Something like that. Yeah, there you go. I mean, very briefly, how did you start out as an impressionist?
I started in high school doing shows. Yeah, I started doing live shows in high school. That's the first time I ever stepped on a stage. It was in my senior year in high school. The entire school was out there. And I'd never been on stage. So it took guts or stupidity.
But
I got out there anyway.
And you enjoyed it from day one.
It's an interesting thing because the first time I stepped on the stage, it was everybody in the school was there. It was a senior assembly, in the auditorium where everybody's there. And it was a variety show, right? And I just thought, my friends talked me into it because I had done a bunch of voices and stuff. And I thought, I got to try this and see if I'm any good at it, right? But, the first time I stepped out there, it felt really comfortable for me. It was like I had been doing it forever and I had never done it. So I thought, if something feels this comfortable, there's something to it, and then I kept going.
You recall the first voice you did?
Well, some of the first voice I was doing was Jimmy Stewart, Howard Cosell, Ed Sullivan. Thank you. In fact, the routine I did was a routine that I just wrote like 2 nights before I did the senior assembly. And it was the Ed Sullivan Show. And now here's our next guest. And I remember I did Hubert Humphrey at the time. Okay. And here he is, Hubert H. Humphrey. Now, my fellow Americans, I'm as pleased as punch to be here tonight. And then now let's turn it to Howard Cosell. And then I went, thank you, Hubert Humphrey. It's Howard Cosell. And I'm standing here at the White House with another celebrity guest. And then I would just keep doing, I did about 8 voices or whatever. And they all loved it, and I thought, wow, how'd that happen? And that was what I did.
Again, you've had a remarkable career. And not only that, but now you also go into radio because we're very proud that Rich has been our radio host since 2017 already.
Yeah, I like interviewing people. It's fun.
Yeah.
The celebrities, we've had everybody on the show, on the Vegas Voice radio show, from Frank Stallone to Vanna White to the people of the Walker, Texas Ranger TV show. We had Kevin Sorbo on there as a big producer. All kinds of producers, writers, directors, actors. They've all said yes to the show.
Do you like interviewing, whether it be the interviewer or interviewee?
I like either. It's fun to ask the questions because I like to hear the story. Every guest has a different story to tell and about how they got where they are,
So while you're at it, give a plug for the radio station. It's on what radio station?
Yeah, KSHP 1400 AM. You can listen live on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on kshp.com. Listen live button on the top right. You can hear the show live, and they're all archived on thevegasvoice.net.
There you go. And, besides his getting on the stage, besides Rich being able to do all these impressions, besides the radio, you have let's call it a tremendous, you just changed it tremendously when you went from comedy to drama in a new movie. Let's talk about that.
I want to say that, I studied theater in college and I also went to acting school in LA, in Hollywood, for 2 years. It was in my 20s, and I went to acting school and we did 1 week comedy, 1 week drama. And the teacher was fabulous. And she's the one, her name was Lillian Chauvin. She played Mike Tyson. She played Customato, Mike Tyson's manager's wife in the Mike Tyson story.
Really?
She'd done numerous movies and acting. Very good teacher. She was very good. And so, I mean, Raquel Welch's daughter was in the class. Kevin Nealon from Saturday Night Live was in the class. A lot of celebrities, you know.
So you're in this class, and then years later, you say, "Let's make a movie."
Well, you know, I had done commercials over the years. I mean,
Right.
I was out of the Orlando market for a while. I went there, did a lot of TV commercials for Disney and for Universal and those kind of things. And little bit parts, I did soap opera stuff. You know, that's how I got my SAG card. And so, but it was kind of put on hold, the acting, because, you know, the stand-up is how I always made money. So I focused mostly on that for a long time.
Okay, so even though you had a background in acting, you were really a comic impressionist. That's
Comedy
what you
impressionist
did.
is
Okay, so one day you say, "Let's make a movie." How did that come
No,
about?
I'll tell you how that came about.
Okay.
Right before the pandemic, I a person came to me in a dream, a male. Okay. Now this is going to sound out there, but it's all true.
Yeah.
And he told me, you need to write a screenplay. This is the story. The screenplay, this story is going to help a lot of people in need. The guy told me in the dream. Don't know who the guy was. Have no idea. This is the story, start to finish. You need to write it. And I was like, I don't know how to write a screenplay. And it's like, listen carefully. This is what you need to do. And the guy's telling me, he was very direct, very nice, but very direct. Like, and this is the title. You are to call the screenplay Faith Wins. Okay. I wake up. I knew it wasn't a regular dream. I knew it was real because I felt everything from the stream, right? I look at the clock, 3:22 in the morning. I go over to my desk. Okay. I write out the screenplay exactly the way he told me the story, with the title Faith Wins on the top, right? Go back to bed, get up in the morning, go over to the desk. Was this real? This felt really real. And there it was, all written out. So now I'm thinking, this is a great story. I'm reading it through. And I remember in the dream saying, this is a great story. This is a great title, everything, right? So I called my friend John Pate, who had written scripts. And John says, send me the story. I send him the story. He goes, Rich, this is really good. You know, and the title's great and everything. So he says, I want to get to work on the scene by scene stuff. I love this, you know? And I'm like, you think we can do it? Yeah, we can do it. You know, told him about the dream, the whole thing, right? And so John sits down at the computer, and here's a miracle number 2. He says, when I start writing the scene by scene, it was like the script was writing itself. He goes, all the dialogue was flowing. He goes, I've never had this happen. He goes, it was like flowing through me, you know, the dialogue, like somebody else was writing it through John. He goes, I've never had this happen. So we're collaborating, and he's writing, and he's going, what do you think of this for the scene? Yeah, I think that, boom, boom, boom. We write the entire screenplay. I sent it to my friend, Cherie J. Wilson, who's been a guest on the show. She is the blonde, talented actress on Walker, Texas Ranger with Chuck Norris. She was in Dallas and all that. And she's a good friend of ours, and she's been on the show many times. Cherie read the script. She goes, Rich, this is really good. She goes, you guys got it right. She goes, I've read 1,000 scripts, but I've never, you know, seen one this correctly written. She said a lot of writers get it wrong, but you got it right, you know. So she read, and so that encouraged us even more. Then we submitted it to screenplay competitions, the Christian screenplay competitions, and we took first place, won Best Christian Screenplay Award for the best screenplay, placed in the top 5 of 3 other awards. We won Best Original Movie Song, Best Songwriter Award, and we were off.
And
winning.
Again, in a minute or so we have left us. Tell us, what's the movie about? I mean,
The movie's about a character who's a comedy impressionist in Las Vegas. His name's Billy Rizzo. He's on top of his game. He's got everything going. He's got the beautiful wife. He's got money. He's got big contracts. Everybody's loving him. He's a big name in Vegas. And then all of a sudden, some tragedy happens. And he basically, I don't want to be a spoiler here, but he loses everything.
Yeah.
He finds himself homeless on the streets of Las Vegas. He has no faith. He's never known faith. He's never known poverty. He's never known hardship. All of a sudden, now he's faced with everything. And by some twists and turns in unlikely situations, he finds his path to an even greater cause. And he finds faith, he finds direction, and he finds his way back. And so you got to watch the movie. And if you can want to watch the movie, you can go to GAGO YouTube, and put in Faith Wins movie, and you can see the movie for free. You can watch it for free on there. Go to GAGO YouTube and watch and put in Faith Wins, and you'll see the movie. And it's a great story, beautiful story. And we're getting so many beautiful comments and views from it. We've got, right now, as we're taping the show, we have close to 27,000 views in 10 days.
No, that's incredible. It really is. And this whole thing originated because of a voice in your head. Is that correct?
That wasn't in my head. It was in the dream. It wasn't in my head. It wasn't something that you make people think it was some celebrity voice in my head. No, it was the guy that came to me in the dream and told me to write this.
Again,
I don't know who it was.
Okay.
I don't know who it was. He didn't say, I am this or I'm that. But he just was telling me, this is what you need to do. And it was very, very instructional. And all these wonderful things happened after I did what he told me to do. So.
Okay, no, we'll give credit.
We'll see.
And again, I have to tell you, everyone at the Vegas Voice, we've seen the movie. We think it's incredible. You knocked us out with your performance. Again, I'm used to you as a comedian.
Well, because you didn't know that other side of it.
I didn't, and we were all taken aback by it. I got to tell you, without giving you a quick plug, you were fantastic in it.
No, thank you. And everybody was. I mean, Bruce Baum did a wonderful job. Bruce Baum who was a very famous comedian in the 70s and 80s, very famous on all the TV shows doing stand-up. I worked with him in the clubs. I opened for him decades ago. Yeah. And that's how I knew Bruce. Bruce, a great actor, great comedian, Bruce Baum. And then we had Dick Hardwick did a great job playing the Sammy, the entertainment director in there. Joelle Rigetti, who everybody knows. I saw Joelle when she did Lance Burton's movie, Billy Toppet, and she was great in that. So I thought, I got to use her for this role. And she did a great job.
Again, the movie's sensational.
John Pate, of course.
John. Yeah, of course, John. Yeah. So the name of the movie?
The movie is Faith Wins. And it's available we're on 5 platforms now. We'll be active on 3 at the end of the month. We're active on 2 right now, Roku TV and GAGO YouTube. GAGO YouTube is the one that's just out there so much right now, Roku too.
And again, and besides watching Rich in the movie, you're also performing. Where are you performing now?
Yeah, performing in the Jew Man Group show over at the Tuscany. We're there 4 nights a week. Doing Wednesday through Saturday at 6 p.m.
And again, we've also seen it.
Yeah,
you're a hell of a Jew. I'll tell you that.
I'm playing a Jew. Yeah, and it's Rick Michaels in that. Does a great job. Rick Michael also Joel Leader, great ventriloquist. So you have Rick Michael, myself, and Joel Leader. So they get a great variety, of entertainment. And we're doing skits, and we come out as Hasidic Jews with the hats and the whole thing, and we do jokes, and you're going to laugh your butt off, people. So get your tickets at the Tuscany. You can get them at the door at the Tuscany Hotel, the box office.
And again, the Rich that I know was the comedian. He would make me laugh. I enjoy his company. And then he does a movie like Faith Wins, which just blows me away with the dramatic, and it's just a great movie.
I'll tell you a funny story real quickly. There, with the dramatic stuff, because I had some really dramatic stuff, like the crying scene when the wife died and everything. And when we had an acting exercise years ago, and the teacher said, "Well, I want to put you on videotape, and I'm going to see if you can cry on cue, because if you can do that, you can get that emotion out that you need for a certain scene, right?" And I used that technique to do this scene. Okay. There was, we were all having trouble in acting school with that exercise. There was a guy who was about 30 years old at the time. He was crying. I mean, tears were flowing when we did this exercise. I'll never forget, and I was like 21, this guy was crying. And after the thing, I said, "Wow, man, you blew everybody away." I said, the tears were flowing. I go, "Great job. Really, really good." And he looked at me, I'll never forget. And he goes, "Rich, I'm 30 years old. I lost my job today. I'm getting evicted from my apartment, and my girlfriend just left me. I got a lot to cry about." I thought that was it. That's how he did it. Jeez. So to draw from a painful time in your life is the technique that I use, and I was able to do it. Do that.
It showed. It was great. Again, the movie is Faith Wins with our buddy Rich Natole, our radio host. I thank you so much for being here. Of course, we went over the time limit, but what can we do about that?
That's okay.
It's well worth it.
Thanks. My pleasure.
You got it. And this is Dan Roberts for Celebrity Corner saying Evan Davis will be back with some more videos down the road. Thank you. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.